Hey, this is Doug with Workforce Gaming. This Pax East 2024 interview is part of a larger series where I spoke with developers, producers, level designers, motion capture artists, and programmers about the games they're presenting. Today's interview is with Retrotainment, a company dedicated to developing new Nintendo games. We discuss the fun challenge of developing games within the limitations of old hardware, pulling Garbage Pail Kids back from the past, and what the future holds for retro games. I'm excited to present to you our interview with Retrotainment. Hey, I'm Doug with Workforce Gaming. I'm here with Sebastian with Retrotainment Games.
So we are Retrotainment Games.
Okay.
That is our development team, and then our publishing team is also 8-Bit Legit. So
Gotcha.
It's basically the same guys all working together. What we do is build games from the ground up for the original NES, all coded in assembly. We get our own products, manufacture everything ourselves, all done in-house, and then we publish for other developers as well.
Oh, nice, because I think that's the thing I noticed is I just saw a bunch of NES cartridges. I think it's really impressive when folks are doing because I was talking to you a little bit about your Garbage Pail game. It's oh no, this is there's no additional hardware in the cartridge.
Correct,
it's just running off. It's running off of NES.
Yeah. So basically, what we do is, like I said, code from the assembly and no hacks. We don't do any kind of additional things. This is everything how it would have ran in the 80s.
Wow.
So no extra memory, nothing like that.
Yeah. So so the reason I kind of stopped over here because I heard the Garbage Pail games. I know you guys went a little bit viral of the publisher at least kind of pretending that it's a sort of lost game sort of thing. So I guess what's the real story behind it? So so you guys are making Nintendo games. Why Garbage Pail Kids? What made that one stick out?
So looking into IPs is something that we always consider.
Yeah.
There's big names out there that we feel always should have had a Nintendo game.
Sure.
And back then, everything got one.
Yes.
I mean, there's a Knight Rider game. There's all the horror movies.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. Everything got a Nintendo game. But Garbage Pail Kids never did.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think a big part of that mainly was, they're gross. It was edgy. It was obscure. Even though it wasn't gory, it was still something that Nintendo probably wouldn't have been too okay with.
And the thing that I thought was funny was watching the gameplay. It wasn't really hardcore gross. It was just it was 90s kids gross.
Exactly.
That's fun.
It's a lot of vomit, a lot of farts, puke. It's just a lot of that sort of things.
So I guess when you guys are playing in that IP, it hasn't been around for such a long time. Do they give you more leeway as far as what you guys can do with the IP? How does that?
In a way, yes. There were things that we wanted that at the end of the day, they just weren't okay with.
Sure.
And it wasn't anything obscure, but it's more or less what they wanted, maybe we couldn't do in assembly.
Okay.
We only have about 512 kilobytes to work with.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There's only so much you can do. And our team is about 6 people at the end of the day. So everybody had all these crazy ideas. And again, it's we got to pick and choose.
Yeah.
But since we didn't publish, that was done through IM 8-Bit. And with Tops, they kind of helped out with you know what, this is cool. We would rather you do this.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that kind of helped with the decision making a lot.
Nice. And do you guys? I assume you guys like doing this, but it's interesting kind of keeping yourself in the box of Nintendo hardware and stuff. Are you do sometimes you look at other ones oh well, if we just pushed a little bit harder here, or is it just fun enough playing in the box? It's cool. We could maybe do that. Yeah. But we could be experts in this box.
Yeah, and that is kind of one of the things we look at now, where we're at. We've done 4 full titles for NES.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Our first game is very apparent that it's our first game.
Okay.
And the second was a huge step. And then Full Quiet, that was one of the other newer ones, is an amazing step forward. So we had Garbage Pail Kids done not fast, but we really knew what we were doing, so it wasn't much of a problem to make stuff work. And now we look at that do we continue to make NES because we feel like we're experts?
Yeah.
Or do we move on to Super Nintendo and Genesis?
Oh, fun.
Because 16-bit is what our coders are begging for. They're please let us do more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean.
But now we're starting to establish these IPs, and it's almost do we want the next title to be a...
Oh, super version of whatever the ones you
brought.
Oh,
do we make it an upscale, a 1-to-1 remake but 16-bit, or do we make a sequel in something that we've never really played with?
Sure, yeah, I remember, I thought it was really neat that, games like Shovel Knight and stuff, I think they kind of pretend to be a sequel to games that never came out, but you guys created those NES games and could potentially create the Super Nintendo version.
Exactly, yeah, and that is how we look at it, too, because back then, that's how they released, one was on Nintendo, 2 or 3 would come out on Super, and then so on. So it's hard to pick and choose of, do we stay or do we go?
Yeah, and then when you do go, are you doing Super Nintendo, or are you doing Genesis, or
I think we would do both.
Really?
Yeah, I think we would. We've done a couple legacy cartridges with IM 8-Bit, and we've done Super Nintendo and Genesis before.
Yeah.
So we know it's in our wheelhouse of what we can do.
Yeah, I thought it was really impressive because I was playing the Garbage Pail games. I was this might be one of the best Nintendo games I've ever. Just it's you guys could. It's funny.
It really is a good game, and some people see those big name IPs and they think it's just a cash grab.
Sure.
But with what we do, like, this isn't a business where we're making a killing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a 40-hour job for 3 of us.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we're not all millionaires. You know what I mean? We do it because we love it.
Yeah.
It is like a passion project for us. That's what started it. So
what's the game you're kind of? So I was talking more about Garbage Pail Games. What's the next big game you're kind of out here to show?
So right now we're kind of just showcasing what we've done. Recently, like this past year, we focused a lot on publishing.
Okay, sure.
And a big reason for that is, money. Unfortunately, we crowdsource a lot of our stuff.
Yeah.
And everything that we make off of our games goes right back into them.
Okay,
so,
sure.
So we got to keep our lights on, and like, we got to eat.
I get it. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're trying to build so that we can really put out like a better product.
Nice.
So next, we are going to do a sequence in one of our other games.
Okay. Cool.
We're definitely in the works with that. We're talking to some other big IPs to incorporate them.
Oh,
Can't
fun.
disclose any
sure,
of that
no,
yet.
That's fun though.
But there should be some big names and honestly some like very recognizable characters that are going to appear in the next one.
Nice. All right. So where can people find your games?
So right now, retrotainmentgames.com.
Okay.
You find everything on there, and then a lot of our library is available on Steam.
Okay.
If you search Retrotainment Games, you'll find our dev page.
Yeah.
Everything's on there, and then same with 8-Bit Legit.
Yeah.
Type that into Google, you'll find our webpage that links everything we've published, and as well on Steam, that's all on there.
So I don't necessarily need a Nintendo to play some of these games. So
not exactly. Everything that we have, you can play on at least Steam.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yes.
Good. Oh, that's great.
So everything's at least on Steam. A few of our games haven't made it to Switch or Xbox.
Sure, that's fair.
But everything we do now that's new is pretty much getting a Switch and an Xbox release.
Awesome.
And then Steam has been like a guarantee for us.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Of course,
great.
man. I appreciate you talking. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.